Dr. Deborah Birx, Dr. Scarf herself, one of the faces of the American response to the coronavirus pandemic. At this point, 5 years ago? Dr. Birx has come out and admitted not only did the COVID vaccines not prevent infection, as we were told they did, they were never designed to prevent infection. It's not just that the vaccines failed to do what they were supposed to do. What Dr. Birx, one of the top authorities on COVID, is now admitting is, yeah, they were never supposed to do that in the first place. The public health officials, we all just kind of lied to you.
That is not what the COVID vaccine was designed to do. It wasn't designed to prevent against infection. And if you look at the vaccine hesitancy rates, they've doubled since COVID. So we have to start addressing these things. We can't just ignore them.
And Deborah, let me ask you, Deborah, I mean, given that you were the face of COVID from the Trump presidency at the time, do you share, this doctor who I was with, do you share the concerns about the longer term negative impact of some of the COVID vaccines?
The messenger RNA vaccine should have been rolled out for the people that were at risk for severe disease, because that's what the vaccine was developed for. But when we say that we're following the science and the data, we need to follow the science and the data. And the science and the data said people primarily over 65 or people with significant comorbidities were at risk for severe disease. Those are the individuals that should have been immunized first. And we should have put our science behind our immunization schedule and protected those most at risk.
Okay, so I'm glad to hear this now, but I don't even know if I should believe this now. I guess I knew the whole time that the COVID vaccines were not going to prevent infection. People with common sense knew that. No one really trusted Fauci by the time these vaccines came out. But really, I have no reason to even trust Dr. Birx at this point when she's admitting that they were all lying 5 years ago, because she's admitting that they were liars. And I love the way she phrases this. She goes, the real tragedy here is that now we weren't following the science, okay? And that means that people are distrusting the public health officials. I don't know that that's I don't think the big tragedy is we don't trust Dr. Fauci anymore. I think the big tragedy is people were mandated by the government in many cases to take a dangerous drug that for some people was needlessly dangerous against their will, against the medical literature. In some cases, people died. In some cases, people got blood clots or myocarditis and died for no reason whatsoever. That's the issue. It's the great Norm Macdonald joke. He says, people say that the problem with Bill Cosby, that the worst thing was the hypocrisy. I don't think it was the worst thing. I think the worst thing was I think hypocrisy was pretty low on the list, actually. That's how I feel here. Yeah, the distrust of the NIH now. I guess that's a problem. But I think it's more the people getting myocarditis and blood clots and dying. To me, that's the bigger problem. It is difficult to overstate what an admission this is. People lost their jobs. They were forced out of their careers. In some cases, they were just mandated to get it. We were told, well, you know what? I actually have the clip. The clips were scrubbed from the internet largely, but in an earlier show years ago now at this point, I was able to bring them back together. And then I actually had to go back to my show to even find the compilation. This is what we were told by all the geniuses back during COVID.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
These vaccines are highly, highly effective.
Vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
They're really, really good against variants.
Everyone who takes the vaccine is not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal.
Get your first shot, and when you're due for your second, get your second shot.
Our key goal is to stop the transmission, to get the immunity levels up so that you get almost no infection going on whatsoever.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
Okay, are all of those people just the stupidest people in the country? Are they all just completely brain dead? Some of them are smarter than others, fair enough. But a number of people there are reasonably intelligent. Right now, go to expressvpn.com/Michael Knowles Show. Going online without ExpressVPN, it's like driving without car insurance. You might be a great driver, But by the looks of everyone else on the road these days, why would you take the risk? Every time you connect to an unencrypted network in cafes, hotels, airports, your online data are completely exposed. Any hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data. We're talking about your passwords. We're talking about your bank logins, your credit card details, everything. Here's the scary part. It does not take much technical knowledge to hack someone. Just cheap hardware is all that's needed. I love ExpressVPN because I'm kind of a Luddite. So ExpressVPN, it's on my devices. I click one button, boom, I'm logged in. I don't need to think about it again. Super duper easy to use. Fire up that app, one button, you are protected. It works on all your devices, your phones, your laptops, your tablets, everything. Creates a secure encrypted tunnel between my device and your device and the internet. Keeps your data safe no matter where you are. Get 4 months for free, scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com/Michael Knowles Show. A number of people there, including Dr. Fauci, but Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a pretty smart guy. These are people who ostensibly were in the know. But Dr. Birx just told, and Dr. Birx is not some kook, fringe, conspiracy. She was one of them. She was one of the faces. One of probably the top 3 faces of coronavirus. And she just said, yeah, the vaccine was never supposed to prevent infection. So what conclusion am I supposed to come to other than they lied to you? They lied to you. They forced you to take a dangerous drug needlessly or to lose your careers and your livelihood. And is it any wonder that everyone is now cheering on Elon Musk and the House Oversight Committee and the Trump administration broadly when they go in and ruthlessly gut these agencies? That should be no surprise whatsoever. The people, it's not just the NIH, it's not just the Faucis of the world, it's USAID, it's the IRS, it's so much of the federal apparatus. These people who are losing their jobs now, these people who are losing their power now, and whose demise the American people are applauding, those people have no one to blame but themselves. That was a spectacular clip, if I do say so myself, and I would recommend that you ring the bell and subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel, and then I will see you next time.